The situations portrayed in this program are very dangerous. They have been performed by trained professionals in order to replicate worst-case scenarios of real-life hazards. Viewers should not, under any circumstances, attempt to replicate any of the situations presented in the program. Coming up on House Hazards. Mother Nature storms in.
Okay, it's lit.
Francesca drops a bomb in the bathroom. And the team shows how landscaping can turn lethal. Home, sweet home. Well, not as sweet as you might think. Your house is really out to get you. There are thousands of hazards hiding in every home, and our team of experts will separate the fiction from the facts so you can avoid domestic meltdown. Scientist Francesca will expose the hidden dangers lurking in every home. Engineer Dan will show you how everyday appliances can turn from labor-saving to life-threatening. And special effects expert Brendan will recreate the worst-case scenario. The Hazard team is preparing to demonstrate an outdoor threat so dangerous, even the professionals are 23 times more likely to be injured fatally.
Removing a tree from your property can be really dangerous. We're gonna show you just how hazardous it is in 3 steps. Topping a tree, felling a tree, then removing the stump.
The unpredictability of where these giants fall is what makes logging the second most dangerous job in the world.
There's a bunch of hazards involved in topping your own tree. You can get chainsaw kickback, you could fall, and you don't know where the top of that tree is gonna land.
In place of a tree, Dan is using a telephone pole positioned next to a parked car.
The key thing is, I'm in danger, Francesca and Brendan are in danger, and that mannequin sitting shotgun, he's definitely in a hazardous situation.
First, Dan is going to make a front cut, leaving a hinge so that the top of the tree falls forward.
Now we do the back cut!
The target, a direct hit on the car below.
Oh! It missed by like an inch!
You were so close!
Dan's miss proves how difficult it is to fell a tree safely. Not to be outdone by a log, he's dropping it again.
I think we're rock and roll, man! All right, here it comes.
Pile driver Dan!
3, 2, 1, timber!
Straight through the windshield!
Falling 30 feet, the treetop impacts the car with the force equivalent to 4,000 pounds. 3 times the weight needed to crush every bone in the human body. Now that the car is kaput,
All right, bring it closer.
Dan and Francesca are going to investigate one of nature's deadliest forces by testing how well their house holds up against hurricane winds.
Maybe
Like a little bit
just
more.
another 3 feet. A little more.
This is gonna be wild.
It's gonna be good. Hurricanes cause $10 billion in property damage every year, and it's one of the biggest hazards that your house can face. So what's the best way of improving your odds?
Some say keeping your windows open during a hurricane will do less structural damage because the wind can travel through unimpeded, while others claim that keeping them shut will protect the interior of your home.
So the question is, windows open or windows closed? Which does more damage during a hurricane?
We've ripped the front doors off the house, found 3 high-powered industrial fans that are blowing into the building. We're gonna add some debris and some water, figure out just how hazardous a hurricane with open windows can be. All right, let's do this! Bring it! Oh! What you got? You got debris? What you got?
What you got? You ain't got nothing. Bring on the hurricane.
This is where I'm gonna be when we turn the fans on. I've got a debris launcher, a variety of debris, and my favorite crew member, Chris. All right, Dan, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, we're gonna hit it!
These fans produce wind speeds of 80 miles per hour. The same as a Category 1 hurricane. Strong enough to uproot trees, lift roof shingles, and even topple a mobile home.
Windows open during a hurricane, definitely hazardous. I got hit with a ceiling fan! A ceiling fan! I got beat up, the room got beat up.
Our hurricane lasted minutes. In reality, hurricanes can last for days. It's a safe bet the inside of the house would be totaled.
So now we'll get the windows back on, move all this stuff outside, reset the room, see how hazardous it can be to have those same winds blowing on closed windows.
It's gonna be wild.
The Hazard team is testing how best to protect your home during a hurricane. Keeping the windows open left the living room in shambles. Next up, closed windows.
This is my mannequin. Basically a relatively exact replica of myself, down to chiseled jaw and rock-hard skull.
This mannequin will function as Dan's stunt double and show you what could happen to anyone taking shelter behind glass in a hurricane.
Okay, everybody, fans coming up.
The fans quickly fire up 80-mile-per-hour winds, but the windows hold up. But it's debris, not wind, that causes the most damage in a hurricane. So Dan and Francesca are adding some of their own. One of the deadliest, a 15-pound 2x4. Come hurricane time, these beams can become lethal missiles. Traveling at 100 miles per hour, they easily punch through drywall, brick, even steel. So let's see how Dan's double fares.
That was insane.
Man, that's a hurricane.
Oh my God, there's glass everywhere.
The tricycle. Dan, this is insane.
The high-speed camera reveals how the mannequin was completely impaled by the 2x4. Had it been a real human, this blow absolutely would have been fatal.
With the windows in, or without the windows, it was equally as dangerous.
In the end, whatever Mother Nature's throwing at you, you're not going to be able to escape it. You can try to close your windows, you can open your windows. In the end, you're better to just board them up and get out.
Absolutely.
Back outside, the Hazard team still has a lot of tree to get rid of, and all the risky business that goes along with it.
Dan had his turn. He nipped the top off the tree. Now it's my turn, and I'm taking the whole thing down.
All right, so how do you want to do this?
With the chainsaw.
Just cut it down.
All right, well, we've already demonstrated property damage with this, but if you want to show damage to the lumberjack, we need to show maximum kickback.
Kickback happens in the final moments of felling a tree. Once the tree falls to the ground or hits another object in its path, it can launch back with lethal force. Brendan and Dan are adding a guide rope
Got it!
to help dial in the location of the kickback. Francesca's goal is for the tree to fall on the fence, When this happens, the force should redirect, launch backwards, and take out their lumberjack friends.
Miss Francesca, here's your chainsaw.
Thanks, Ian.
Chainsaw in hand, she's ready to bring it down. Francesca first cuts a wedge on the side of the pole that faces the direction she wants it to fall. Then, she makes the back cut.
Francesca!
How did I miss him?
We've got mannequins in the front! We've got mannequins in
How
the
did
back!
I directly miss all three of them?
It may look like the team has been outfoxed by a piece of wood, but the kickback was a success, flying back with enough force to fracture a person's skull.
So close.
Cannot believe that.
Again, the experiment proves how unpredictable chopping down a tree can be, and shows just what it means to come within an inch of your life.
We didn't have any kickback. We missed the car.
They're obviously frustrated, but Brendan is on a mission to finish the job they started.
I'm blowing up the stump.
The situations portrayed in this program are very dangerous. They have been performed by trained professionals in order to replicate worst-case scenarios of real-life hazards. Viewers should not, under any circumstances, attempt to replicate any of the situations presented in the program. Sometimes, hazards literally fall right out of the sky. And while the odds are 1,000,000,000 to 1 it'll happen, there's not much you can do if an object from space comes to visit your home.
A meteor is a sand to boulder-sized particle floating around in space. Once it enters the Earth's atmosphere, it becomes a meteoroid. Once it hits the Earth, it becomes a meteorite.
Everybody agrees that a meteor hitting your house is a huge hazard. It's a giant piece of space rock hurtling at super high speeds. So what we want to do today is show you just how hazardous it is.
What are we gonna make our meteor out of?
Big rock?
Bowling ball.
Perfect.
That's perfect.
To mimic the speed of a meteoroid, the team is setting up a pressurized air cannon on the roof of the house. This will release a large blast of air and launch the bowling ball directly towards the roof.
The air cannon will be mounted to this ramp, which will give us the trajectory of our meteor.
When a meteor is traveling through the vacuum of space, it can reach speeds of 70 kilometers per second. However, just like shooting a bullet into water, when it enters our atmosphere, it rapidly decreases its speed and reaches its terminal velocity, somewhere around 200 to 300 kilometers per hour. This air cannon is going to give that bowling ball just the right amount of speed that a normal meteor would have when it hits your house.
This is our meteorite. It's a bowling ball wrapped in a burlap sack. We are gonna shove this up the air cannon and send this sucker through the middle of the house.
All right, guys, we're about to do this. Everybody get down. In 3, 2, 1.
The bowling ball blasts through the roof, violently displacing the gravel, continuing to punch a hole through the tar, wood, and insulation of the second-floor ceiling.
Oh man, that's a mess.
Punched
Excellent.
right through.
I'd call that a success.
Yeah.
Very big success.
Clearly, a giant hole in the roof means the meteor is a hazard. The question is, just how hazardous is it?
Moving on from Brendan's confirmation of the obvious, the team wants to establish just how much damage it has done.
There's the hole.
Oh,
Right on.
Oh yeah.
no! Did it go into the basement?
Awesome. Down to the basement.
It's in there. Bowling ball.
through what? 1, 2 ceilings.
Can you imagine how that got lodged there while it was still hot? And this floor would already be on fire before you even knew it.
If this was a real meteor, it'd be burning at about 1,600 degrees Celsius, so it would have started a fire in here, no problem.
The bowling ball meteor packed a punch from the roof to the basement.
I think it's fair to say if a meteorite hits your house, you are not safe anywhere.
Objects falling from the sky, definitely hazardous. But Brendan's next problem is firmly rooted in the earth.
Anybody can fell a tree. Anybody can top a tree. The real challenge is getting rid of the stump. The stump is difficult to remove because of this elaborate root structure. It's as big under the ground as it is above the ground. And all those roots are just holding on to the earth.
Brendan uses a pickaxe to separate the tree's trunk from its root system.
Maybe he's getting rid of, like, excess angst and rage.
But the roots are incredibly tough. Even upgrading to a chainsaw
He's on a mission, which makes me a little freaked out.
is no match for the web of roots below. Refusing to be stumped by the stump, Brendan's going straight to the explosive solution. The last thing you want to think about when you're in the bathroom is what could go wrong. But with 2.3 million North American toilets recalled due to risk of explosion in a single year, your toilet might not be as safe as you think. Some toilets use a high-pressure system to pump water. In some instances, air can seep into the tank and become compressed, and if that pressure becomes too high and can't escape, the next time you flush, the toilet explodes. It's a perfect storm kind of situation, but it does happen. To recreate this here, they need a pressure substitute.
What if I had a little friend called Boom?
Yeah, that'll solve your problem. Okay, it's lit.
As the powder bomb explodes, it produces oxygen and other gases, creating a sudden increase of pressure inside the toilet, causing it to burst into 1,000 pieces.
That toilet went bye-bye! Now, granted, this is much bigger than when a pressure-assisted toilet blows up, but you can definitely see how hazardous that shrapnel is. That ceramic is razor sharp.
Dan and Francesca made the crapper go kaboom. Now it's Brendan's turn. He's given up the tools and has a new plan to get his stump to blast off.
I've tried taking an axe to these roots. I took my chainsaw to these roots. It goes through the small ones. The big ones are just too tough. It's time for Plan E. Explosives.
Brendan is loading the stump with black powder charges.
8 bombs? Oh, no. He's really, really getting rid of that stump.
To rip it from its roots for good. Extreme as this may seem, it's an actual landscaping tactic. And it's a dangerous one. DIY gardening lands 400,000 people in the emergency room every year. A handful of them for doing this very thing.
I thought I set the timer for like 30 seconds. I may have set it for like 3 minutes. I can't explain it. It should have blown by now.
I feel like a sitting duck, like it could go any second.
Excellent.
The explosives ignite, simultaneously shredding the stubborn root system and the stump itself. As the smoke clears, the team comes in to assess the damage.
Here, Brendan, there's your trophy!
Probably like what? 30, 40 pounds of wood?
That flew directly up when the black powder went off and landed how many meters away?
That's probably 80 feet.
Okay, that's a little satisfying.
There you go.
This is where people get themselves into trouble because they underestimate how much is actually under the soil.
It's like an iceberg.
Even
10%.
you underestimated it.
I did. I think I need more time with the chainsaw and then a lot more black powder.
So I think we've pretty much shown how hazardous trees can be.
Well, it's not the tree that's the hazard, it's people taking it upon themselves to get rid of something this enormous. It needs to be left to the professionals.
Yeah.
Well, I think it depends on the tree.
The tree has proven a worthy contender for the hazard team. They dropped it, felled it, took an axe and chainsaw to it, but in the end, only explosives could take it out.
I underestimated this completely.
I think we've pretty much shown how hazardous trees can be.
You can cut your own grass, you can trim your own bushes, you can do some of your own landscaping. But when you get up against something like this, maybe leave it to a professional.
The situations portrayed in this program are very dangerous. They have been performed by trained professionals in order to replicate worst-case scenarios of real-life hazards. Viewers should not, under any circumstances, attempt to replicate any of the situations presented in the program. Coming up on House Hazards.
3, 2, 1!
Nature's fury is unleashed. Floods, hail, fire, and even snow. The team is braving the elements and the hazards they cause. Home, sweet home. Well, not as sweet as you might think. Your house is really out to get you. There are thousands of hazards hiding in every home, and our team of experts will separate the fiction from the facts so you can avoid domestic meltdown. Scientist Francesca will expose the hidden dangers lurking in every home. Engineer Dan will show you how everyday appliances can turn from labor-saving to life-threatening. And special effects expert Brendan will recreate the worst-case scenario. Over its lifespan, a house will face all different kinds of hazards, and this house has seen most of them.
That house is in rough shape.
But while we can prevent many of these disasters from happening, others are in the hands of Mother Nature, and it's up to us to protect ourselves as best we can.
Ready?
Yeah. Bring the platform in right above the buckets. Brendan, I'm in the tree right now. Can you try to negotiate a little better, please?
Today, the team is going to test how well we're protected from two hazards that together cause over $10 billion a year in damages.
Easy does it, Brendan.
When Mother Nature wants to be, she can be very hazardous. From tornadoes to earthquakes to avalanches. But today, we're gonna see which is worse. A hailstorm or a flood.
First up is a hailstorm. Hail forms when ice from storm clouds begins melting into rain. If an updraft of wind draws it back up, it refreezes, adding an extra layer of ice, creating the hailstone. As this cycle of thawing and refreezing repeats itself, the hailstone grows until eventually there are large chunks of ice falling from the sky. To demonstrate the trouble that a hailstorm can cause, Francesca's planned a full-on assault. Dan and Brendan will be firing a pair of high-powered industrial vacuums filled to the brim with salt rocks, simulating the average hailstone. On the telehandler, 2 air cannons loaded with dozens of golf balls have been rigged to launch directly at the house, replicating a very destructive hailstorm. And finally, Francesca's gearing up. She'll be shooting frozen paintballs out of a semi-automatic 50 caliber paintball gun.
It'll simulate about the same speed and impact that quarter-size hailstones would have.
Her target is the front of the house, complete with glass door and awning.
The awning is made out of the 3 most common roofing materials: aluminum, shingles, and vinyl.
The roof is our first line of defense against the elements, which means it's also the first to get damaged. The team wants to know which material can withstand the hailstorm best and which one will cost insurers the most.
Okay, go for it.
Hailstorms are rated on a scale ranging from 0 to 10, based on the size and speed of the stones, plus the storm's intensity. A storm with a rating of 10 can last for hours, and Francesca doesn't have enough golf balls for that. So instead, she's going to deliver a combination of a 2, 3, and 5 rated hailstorm all at once.
That was beautiful. It was like
Hailstorm.
violent Christmas snow.
Even though Francesca's paintballs were small, they were traveling close to the top speed a hailstone can reach, almost 200 kilometers an hour, easily breaking through the glass door.
You took care of the door.
I did, didn't I? And the windows.
Meanwhile, traveling at an average speed of 32 kilometers per hour, the larger salt rocks proved no match for any of the roofing materials. But then, there were the golf balls, traveling at 120 kilometers an hour with a collective weight of 7 kilograms.
Definitely a lot of damage. The vinyl stood up pretty well. The asphalt shingles look pretty good. It's the aluminum that is really, really banged up. This awning has seen better days.
I appreciate why you wanted to do this. It demonstrated hail well, but mine's much more simple, and it's much more destructive.
Brendan's test takes 200 lives every year and is the leading cause of weather-related deaths in North America. Behold, the flash flood. A flash flood occurs when heavy rains dump so much water, it's impossible for the ground to absorb it all. The remaining water accumulates, rapidly flowing downhill, often in the path of houses, which Brendan is about to demonstrate.
I've got 3 dump tanks up here. Each dump tank holds about 100 gallons of water. So when I pull them all at once, I got 300 gallons of water aimed straight at the front door.
Into the tanks, Brendan adds another ingredient to the potential watery devastation: debris.
It's the kind of stuff that would actually get picked up during a flash flood.
During a flood, large objects such as these are propelled by the force of the water, ramping up the damage. And it's all aimed at the house.
Are you guys ready in there?
All right, bring on the flood.
Flash floods arrive without much warning, with the storms often miles away from the flood path. And just like a real flood, anyone still inside this house would have no way of knowing that hundreds of gallons per second were about to be unleashed on their front door.
All right, here we go. And 3, 2, 1, go!
This is like 300, 400 gallons, just devastating the house.
And this is when it came to a full stop. Imagine this was a real flood. It would have kept coming and coming and coming.
If this were your home, there's almost nothing you could do to prevent this devastation. A flash flood like this could lay waste to your entire house. And even worse, you'd have almost no warning before it happened.
What do you think?
This is absolute destruction. Francesca's hailstorm looked spectacular, but it didn't really cause much damage. Brendan's flood, however, wreaked havoc on our door, on our front entrance, and on our basement. In the battle of hail versus flood, I gotta give it to flood.
Under the hot sun, the last thing you'd think of is a snowstorm. But snow can be your house's worst enemy. Catastrophic winter storms strike North America every year, causing over $700 million in damages. And most of it impacts the spot right over your head.
Today we're testing to see just how hazardous it is when too much snow collects on your roof.
Most roofs are designed to support a snow load of 50 to 100 kilograms per square meter. However, a winter storm is often accompanied by strong winds that can cause snow to drift, creating isolated accumulations that overburden the roof structure.
We don't have a snowstorm today, but what we do have is gravel and a huge conveyor belt.
Okay, bring it in.
At more than 2.5 times the weight of snow, the team shouldn't need much gravel to cause a breach. And by using the conveyor belt, they'll be able to focus it onto one spot, replicating a roof-busting snowdrift.
Okay, cool, good, that's good.
With everything in place, Brendan starts the snowstorm.
Take it easy, go slow.
As they get older, most roofs develop weak spots, and it's here that the team is aiming the gravel. If the roof is going to collapse, this is where it will happen.
The front here, where all the water's pooling, that means that our roof has already started to bow. And that's exactly where we want our gravel to land.
The pile has almost reached the equivalent of 1 cubic meter of snow. Including the weight of the water, this is well past the 300 kilogram per square meter capacity of the roof. But the house is yet to creak.
Guys, this is not working for us, all right? Those beams up there are double joist, and they run the entire span of the roof.
Built like a tank, this house is putting up a fight. If the team wants to simulate a real disaster, they'll need to focus their assault on the inside. But before they do, Dan has another winter remedy that might cause more harm than help. The space heater. Like a little fireplace, it provides supplemental heat throughout the long winter nights. But just like its flame-filled counterpart, this thing's also a killer, 54 times more likely to be lethal than a central heating system.
Whenever you've got a heating element with combustible materials, there's potential for hazard.
A space heater uses metal coils to convert an electrical current into heat. As the coil charges up, it radiates that heat, and a fan behind blows the hot air into the room.
Space heater's been running for about 20 minutes. To the naked eye, it doesn't seem that hot. But when you put the thermal imaging camera on it, you can tell the coils are above 340 degrees Celsius. Now the obvious hazard. What happens when the space heater gets knocked over? It turned off because every space heater has built-in safety mechanisms. To show you how truly hazardous this can be, I'm gonna have to disable them.
New space heaters come with 3 different safety features. A grate, which keeps objects from touching the heated coils. A tipping sensor, which uses gravity and a counterweight to interrupt the power if the space heater is not standing vertically. And finally, the thermostat, which keeps the heater from burning things up.
This is the on and off knob, but it also has a built-in thermostat. That's why I have to take out the entire thing in order to make this work. With the modifications I've made to this space heater, it's become a real hazard. So to show you a real-life scenario, I've modified 2 more. It's not uncommon for people to use multiple space heaters in one room, and they often put them in very unsafe places. Whoops.
With the malfunctioning heaters now inches away from the highly flammable bedroom materials, Dan has created quite the fire hazard. Exactly the circumstances for a bedtime inferno.
One less fan.
It doesn't take long for things to heat up.
Oh. Oh. The bed is officially on fire.
Just 5 minutes in, the overheated coils burn out the fans. But the hazards are far from finished.
The carpet one's making a lot of smoke, but the only fire we got is coming out of the bed.
Not only has the fire erupted out of control, but the fumes coming from the nylon carpeting, polyester curtains, and cotton comforter are creating a toxic mix, just as deadly as the fire itself.
I'm gonna have to put this stuff out.
Let's not forget, the coils are still red hot.
Whoa, hey there. Open.
It's clearly time to pull the plug.
It's making a really black smoke. I'm gonna put it out. Hey, this one's out. Hey, I'm not banging around here. All right, get out.
Oh my God, look at that smoke. There was a lot of smoke in there.
A heater might be designed with safety in mind, but it only takes minutes for a malfunction to become life-threatening.
The worst part about that fire is that it didn't make a sound. So if you were sleeping in that room, you would have been dead in 10 minutes.
Maybe this winter, try adding another blanket instead. The situations portrayed in this program are very dangerous. They have been performed by trained professionals in order to replicate worst-case scenarios of real-life hazards. Viewers should not, under any circumstances, attempt to replicate any of the situations presented in the program.
Keep it going. Okay, Cole, good, that's good.
The hazard team is putting aside the fact that it's summer to test how much snow it takes to collapse a roof. Using gravel, they're simulating a snowdrift buildup that's heavier than the average load capacity of a roof, 300 kilograms per square meter. But so far, it's holding strong.
Those beams up there are double joists and they run the entire span of the roof.
Whatever your climate, there are two basic types of roof construction. The pitched roof has a slope of 10 degrees or more. Once the snow load reaches a certain level, it will slide off under its own weight. The flat roof, however, needs to be much stronger, as the snow has nowhere to go, allowing for larger buildups that could be catastrophic. To compensate, builders sometimes reinforce these roofs to ensure they can withstand the extra force. Exactly why Dan suspects the roof is still standing.
Brendan, cut it, all right? Francesca, cut it, it's not working. Cut it! This is not working for us, all right? Nobody makes things like that anymore. They're way too strong. We're gonna need to compromise them.
That could happen in a real home. Poor carpentry, no maintenance.
Yeah, maybe there's a leak in the roof and they start to eat away at your beams. So we're gonna have to get in there. Let's go.
With so much weight on the roof, going inside the house is a real hazard. So the guys have suited up and will only be making the minimum amount of changes necessary to simulate poor maintenance in a normal home. Once compromised, it's impossible to know how much snow a roof can support or for how long. And the guys don't want to find out the answer until they're back outside.
Do we do any more or do we go?
Let's do these two more and then we're good.
Dan! I think I can hear creaking.
With the joists weakening and 360 kilograms of gravel sitting on top, it's time for the team to get out of the building. But before the experiment can start back up, there's one more cold weather hazard Brendan wants to show you. When the temperatures plummet, many of us forget that our houses feel the effects of the cold as well. All it takes is a small crack in a water pipe, and as much as 950 liters of water a day could be seeping into your home, something 250,000 families experience under the harshest winter conditions every year. Allow Brendan to demonstrate.
Metal pipe filled with water. Liquid nitrogen. This is what happens when your pipes freeze in the winter.
At minus 196 degrees Celsius, Brendan's using liquid nitrogen to accelerate the freezing process of a harsh winter night. In only a few minutes, the liquid nitrogen freezes the water trapped inside the pipe, which rapidly expands by 9%. And the result?
So you see that? You see the crack? That's what happens to solid cast iron when it freezes in the winter. It cracks your pipes. That's the power of the frozen water in your pipes.
Cracked pipes on average cost homeowners $6,000 in repair bills. But it's easy to avoid by insulating the pipes, installing heat tape, and even letting a tap drip on an extra cold night.
Now, what do I do with all this liquid nitrogen?
Liquid nitrogen is a cryogenic fluid that boils at minus 196 degrees Celsius. Anyone can buy it, and it's used in everything from science projects to preparing gourmet cuisine. But don't underestimate its danger. This stuff can cause severe frostbite when exposed to skin. But Brendan wants to show how this cold substance can actually create a miniature weather system. When nitrogen hits the pool, its extremely low temperature causes the moisture in the air above to condense into clouds, forming a tiny tropical storm in the pool. Having weakened the joists, the team's 360-kilogram artificial snowdrift could collapse at any moment. But Mother Nature can still make this scenario a lot worse.
The second load is reaching the top.
Over a long winter, the hazard created by the team could easily sit undetected for months, weakening the beams further with each passing day.
Nice, guys. It's looking really good.
If another storm were to hit the house, it could be a family's worst nightmare. But the team's going to show just how bad a winter can get. On average, a city in North America suffers 5 winter storms a year. And while a roof may be able to take 1 or 2, unless the snow is cleared or allowed to melt, the weight will keep building.
Just keep going like that, guys. It's perfect.
Already past its maximum load limit, there's no way to tell if or for how long the roof will last.
Whoa! Guys, we are starting to have a collapse. The water is draining. It's important to remember that gravel is about 2.5 times denser than snow. So this represents a much bigger pile, but it still didn't take that much to start the roof collapsing. It's not completely down, but it's dropped a good 2 feet.
All the water pouring in.
Pouring through.
Make no mistake, the breached roof is already a hazard, exposing the house and anyone inside to the severe cold of the winter. But nature can be very unforgiving, with snowfalls lasting for hours and hours. And so with that in mind, the team continues adding to the load.
Guys, I'm hearing some creaking.
With the equivalent of 3 cubic meters of snow on a single spot, it finally gives way, completely destroying one side of the house. While a hazard like this can be avoided, without proper roof maintenance and regular snow clearing, you could be left out in the cold.
What most people don't realize is if you have a flat roof and there's a lot of snow accumulation, this can be the end result.